I want to kick things off with a scene that is, I mean, it's practically a cultural ritual at this point. Like
Okay.
the first week of January. You walk into any gym. What's the scene?
Oh, it's intense,
Yeah.
right? Every single treadmill is taken. There's a line for the free
A
weights,
long line.
a long line, and the whole place is just buzzing with people in brand new workout clothes. You can probably still see the tags on some of them. The energy is almost frantic.
It is. It's pure, uncut optimism. You've got people who haven't run a mile in 5 years suddenly talking about training for a marathon.
And the trainers are circling like sharks, clipboards out, signing everyone up.
Exactly. The ambition is just, it's everywhere. And so is the money.
A lot of money changes hands in that first week, for sure.
Huge amounts. But okay, let's fast forward a bit. It's now, say, mid-March, same gym, same time of day. What are we looking at now?
It's a ghost town. I mean, you might see some tumbleweeds rolling through.
Right.
The regulars are there, of course, but that huge wave of new year, new me people, they're just gone. All that shiny equipment is sitting there, empty.
We call it the January gym phenomenon. And it's a cliche for a reason. But the reason we're bringing this up on a deep dive about data governance, of all things, is that our source material today argues this is the exact same pattern most corporate data programs follow.
It's a parallel that is almost painfully accurate if you've ever worked in this space. We're looking at a piece called The Governance Gym, Building Data Habits That Stick. And its whole argument is that organizations treat data governance like a New Year's resolution. It's this big one-time event, not a lifestyle change.
And we really want to look at this from the perspective of a non-technical person. If you're a data lead trying to sell this idea to your CEO or the head of marketing, how do you even start? Because as soon as you say data governance, they hear bureaucracy, they hear
Sure.
rules.
They hear the Department of No.
Exactly. So our mission today is to figure out how to reframe that pitch, how to go from we're the data police to something more like we're your personal trainers. But before we get to the solution, I really want to dig into the problem. Why is this January effect so common in data? What does that big launch actually look like inside a company?
Well, it usually starts with some kind of crisis, maybe a big regulatory fine or a data migration that just completely went sideways. Management says, okay, never again.
So they decide to get serious.
They get very serious. They launch a program. They buy a shiny new tool, maybe a data catalog, which is basically the corporate equivalent of buying that really expensive Peloton bike.
And there's definitely a committee involved.
Oh, there is always a steering committee.
Yeah.
And they draft policies, they assign new roles. Suddenly you're a data steward. Someone else is on the data council.
And there's a big kickoff meeting. I've been to so many of these. There's
Yeah.
coffee, pastries, a slide deck with a lot of upward pointing arrows.
Yes. Everyone feels great. It feels like you've accomplished something huge just by having the meeting. It's that initial dopamine hit.
Just like signing the gym contract makes you feel fitter for a second.
Exactly. Launching the governance program makes the company feel data-driven. But here's the thing. The actual work hasn't even started yet. And then 3 months go by.
And we hit the March slump.
The March slump. The data stewards, who, by the way, are usually people with full-time day jobs in finance or sales, they just stop showing up to the governance meetings. They're always too busy.
Well, to be fair to them, it's often a really thankless job.
Yeah.
It's a ton of extra work with, no extra pay?
That's a huge piece of it. The incentives just aren't aligned, so the meetings get canceled, the data quality dashboards, if they ever got built, start flashing red, but nobody's looking at them anymore.
And those reporting problems that started the whole thing. The reason you did this in the first place.
They're creeping back in. Sales have one revenue number, finance has a different one, and they don't match up. Again,
So what does leadership do? They look at this empty gym and they panic.
they do. And they say the equipment must be broken. They blame the software. Or they say the framework is all wrong. We need to hire a consultant to design a new framework.
They immediately assume it's a technical failure.
But the source is so clear on this point. Nothing is technically wrong. The software is fine. The rules are written down. The failure is 100% behavioral. It's a failure of routine.
Okay, so if we accept that this is a people problem, a habit problem, how do you fix it? Because walking into a boardroom and telling a bunch of stressed out executives, you all just need more discipline, that's not going to go over well.
No, you'll get thrown out. You have to change the entire narrative. And this is where we get into reframing the pitch. See, most data teams call what they do governance. But that word itself, it implies control, oversight.
Policing, it sounds like you're the IRS and you're here to audit them.
And nobody wants to have lunch with the auditor. If you go to the head of sales and say, I'm here to enforce data standards, they're going to actively avoid you. They'll build their own spreadsheets just to get around your process.
So, step one, stop playing the role of the cop.
And start playing the role of the personal trainer. Just think about the difference in that relationship. A cop is there to catch you doing something wrong. A trainer is there to help you achieve something you want.
You want to run a 10K? Okay, I can help you with a plan for that.
You want your sales forecasts to actually be accurate for once? I can help you get there. It completely changes the dynamic from adversarial to collaborative. The source argues you have to sell governance as a workout routine.
That sounds a little soft, though, doesn't it? Let's build a workout routine together. I mean, executives want to see hard ROI. How do you translate personal trainer into actual shareholder value?
You focus on the things they care about. Measurable improvement over time, a sustainable operating rhythm, and embedded accountability. A trainer doesn't just say, go exercise. They say, we're going to improve your deadlift by 10% in 6 weeks, and here's the chart to prove it.
So you're not selling the habit itself. You're selling the results of the habit.
Precisely. You're selling this idea that data reliability isn't a state you achieve one time. It's a muscle that you have to build and maintain. And that language, that resonates with leadership. They get operational excellence. They know you don't just fix your supply chain once. You manage it continuously. Data is no different.
Okay, I'm sold on the philosophy. I'm ready to be a data trainer. But what does the actual workout plan look like? Because the source gets pretty specific here, and I think this is where a lot of these programs fall apart. They try to do, full-on CrossFit routine on day one.
That is the classic mistake. Trying to boil the ocean. The source lays out a really practical 3-step guide, and step 1 is start small and visible.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second. If I'm a chief data officer, I have 1,000 problems. My CRM is a mess. The data lake is a swamp. How do I pick just one thing without it looking like I'm ignoring the 99 other fires?
You have to triage. You just have to. If you try to fix everything at once, you will fix nothing. You'll burn out your team. You'll run out of money. You have to pick one use case that is small enough that you can actually solve it, but painful enough that people care.
And the example the source uses is duplicate customer records.
Which is a perfect example. It sounds so boring, I know, but the business impact is just massive.
Let's unpack that. Why does a duplicate record matter to someone who isn't a data nerd?
Okay. Imagine you have 2 different salespeople at your company. They both call Acme Corp. But they don't realize it's the same company because in the system, it's listed once as Acme Corp and again as Acme Incorporated.
Okay.
They both think they've closed a new account. Now you have a fight over who gets the commission.
And sales leadership absolutely hates that.
They hate it. Or think about marketing. They do a big direct mail campaign. They send 2 expensive catalogs to the same CEO's desk. It just looks sloppy and it's a complete waste of money. That is a tangible, visible pain point.
So step 1 isn't let's implement a massive data governance framework. It's let's stop sending 2 catalogs to the same person.
Yes, exactly. You solve that one problem using governance techniques. You define what a customer is. You set up a simple rule to find duplicates. You assign one person to review the exceptions each week.
Okay, so you've picked your exercise. You're doing bicep curls, or in this case, deduplication. Step 2 then is create a regular workout.
This is all about the shift from thinking of it as a project to a process. A project has an end date. A workout is just a routine. For this, you need something like a monthly data quality scorecard.
Scorecards can be so boring, though. Our accuracy went from 94% to 95%. How do you keep people from just tuning that out?
You have to tie it back to the pain. It's not, we hit 95% accuracy. It's, we saved $10,000 in wasted postage this month. Or, we prevented 5 commission disputes. You have to operationalize it. The source talks about having assigned steward reviews.
This gets back to that burnout problem, though. If I'm a steward, how does this not just become another meeting that I start dreading?
It has to be manageable and supported.
Yeah.
The personal trainer, that's the data team, does the heavy lifting. They don't say, go find all the errors. They say, here are the 50 records from last week that look suspicious. Can you spend 30 minutes reviewing them?
Okay, that's more manageable.
And you have to have a clear remediation process.
Remediation, so fancy term for who actually fixes the mess.
Right. If you find an error, who has to type in the correction? If that isn't clearly defined, the scorecard is just a list of failures that makes everyone feel bad.
It's like stepping on the scale, seeing you've gained weight, but having no idea what to eat or do about it. Eventually, you just stop stepping on the scale.
Exactly right. The remediation process is the diet plan. It's when X happens, person Y does Z. It takes the guesswork out of it.
And this brings us to step 3, which I think is probably the scariest one for a lot of data leaders. Track progress publicly?
It's the Strava effect for your data.
Yeah, ideally. But here's the fear. What if the numbers are terrible? What if I launch this public dashboard and it shows our customer data quality is like 40%? Am I not just advertising my own failure?
That is a very real fear. But you have to embrace what they call the U-curve. When you first turn on the lights in a really dirty room, it looks awful. You suddenly see all the dust bunnies you didn't know were there
Ignorance was bliss.
for a moment. But you can't clean a room you can't see. You have to frame that initial scary number not as a failure, but as discovery. Hey, team, we just found 5,000 errors we never knew we had. That's actually a win.
So you're controlling the narrative. You're not saying we're getting worse. You're saying we're finally getting honest.
And then you show the trend line. This is why the gym metaphor works so well with executives. They love a chart that goes up and to the right. If you can show them January, 5,000 errors, February, 4,000,
Right.
March, 3,000, you're demonstrating control. You're showing progress.
You're proving that the gym membership is actually being used.
And that buys you the political capital to go after the next problem. Okay, team, we've got a handle on the customer duplicates. Now let's talk about our product gears.
It builds its own momentum. You don't try to get a six-pack in 1 week. You just focus on making it to the gym 3 times this week.
Consistency beats intensity. That is the golden rule from the source material.
Let's stick with that for a second. Consistency beats intensity. I mean, it sounds great on a motivational poster, but in the corporate world, we love intensity. We love agile sprints and Q4 pushes. Is consistency actually valued?
It's deeply undervalued, but it's the only thing that works for data. Data is organic. It decays. It changes every single minute. New customers get added, people move, products get renamed. If you do a huge high-intensity data cleanse project in January and then you stop,
By June, it's a mess all over again.
it's entropy. The natural state of data is chaos. The only thing that fights entropy is a constant low-level application of energy. A mediocre framework that you apply every single week is infinitely better than a perfect framework you only look at once a year.
That's a powerful statement. I want to repeat that. A mediocre plan you stick to is better than a perfect one you don't.
Every single time. Because the weekly one builds the habit. It builds the organizational muscle memory. It teaches the sales rep, hey, if I enter this customer name wrong, I'm going to get an email about it on Tuesday. And eventually, they just start entering it correctly the first time.
You actually change the culture.
You change the behavior. And that brings us right back to that key leadership insight. Buying a gym membership doesn't make you fit. And owning a data governance framework doesn't make your data reliable.
It seems so obvious when you put it like that, but you have to wonder how many millions of dollars are wasted on software licenses that are just sitting there unused.
I mean, Gartner and other analysts estimate that a huge percentage of these big data governance programs fail, and they almost never fail because the software didn't work. They fail because nobody showed up to do the reps.
So if I'm listening to this and I'm getting ready for that budget meeting, or I'm just trying to explain to my team why we have to do this seemingly boring data cleanup work, what's the summary? How do I pitch this?
You start by acknowledging the fatigue. You say, look, I know we've tried things like this before, and I know it can feel like another one of those January gym memberships.
You name the elephant in the room.
You have to. And then you say, we are not doing that this time. We are not boiling the ocean. We are picking one specific pain point, like our customer duplicates, and we are going to work on it consistently until it's solved. We are building a habit, not launching a project.
And you remind them the goal isn't governance. The goal is fitness. The goal is having data you can actually trust so you can do your job better and faster.
Exactly. You're not the police. You're the coach.
It's a subtle shift in language, but I can feel how it would change how an audience receives that message. They stop seeing you as a roadblock and start seeing you as someone who can help them.
And that is how you get your budget approved. That is how you get people to actually show up to your meetings.
So we've gone from the chaotic rush of January to the depressing silence of March, and hopefully we've built a routine that can actually last all year.
It really is all about just showing up, especially when you don't feel like it.
Before we wrap, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought, something to, chew on.
Let's have it.
Look at all your current data projects and all the tools you're paying for, and just be honest with yourself. Are you actually building a workout routine? Or are you just paying for an expensive gym membership because It makes you feel good, even though it isn't actually changing anything.
That's the uncomfortable question, isn't it?
It is. But if the answer is it's just a gym membership, the good news is all the equipment is already there. You just have to decide to start using it.
Start small, track it, and just keep going.
Simple as that. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. Now go get those reps in.
See you next time.